Hello guys, welcome back with another video. Parzival here, and today again we are going to cover a shooting of Mr. Rodney Applewhite. Mr. Rodney was shot in New Mexico by the New Mexico State Police by Gene Gonzalez, the officer who's been with the New Mexico State Police for 12 years and 5 months. Before we get into the shooting and all the facts, let's go to the Twitter and check out what people are saying. Fight for our lives just said call for action, justice for Rodney Applewhite. And let's read some interesting ones here. Shakira Harris said, "We want answer." Rodney Applewhite's aunt said, "We don't know why someone at a traffic stop should be killed," which is justifiable. People should not just be killed at a traffic stop for not doing anything. Beijing Barry, hopefully we have less cases like the Rodney Applewhite in New Mexico with more people using the app. Don't know what that means. In case you're wondering if BML actually cared, there has been at least 3 African American males fatally shot by police since the presidential election. The name are Rodney Applewhite, who we're gonna cover in this video, and Angelo A.J. Crooms and Sincere Pierce by Sarah Elizabeth. And the thing is, I don't know about the other guys, but we're going to cover the Rodney Applewhite shooting. As you can see, people have like mixed reviews on it, mostly negative though. So before we jump into the video, let me just give you a little bit background of what happened. So what happened was Mr. Rodney was traveling on a New Mexico state highway, the Manzano Expressway to be exact, and he was traveling 93 miles an hour in a 45 mile an hour zone. The officer, who was Gene Gonzalez, he noticed that Mr. Rodney was traveling that, and before even he could turn his lights on, the suspect stopped. And then when the officer was approaching his car, the suspect fled, and then the officer had to go into a pursuit which lasted around 3 minutes. And during those 3 minutes, spikes were deployed, which obviously didn't work for some reason, and that made Mr. Rodney go into the oncoming traffic. At that point, the pursuit had to be called off because there was so much casualty which could happen. And at some point, there was a white truck, due to Mr. Rodney's driving, had to come to a stop, and that's where the video kind of starts. As you can see, the police is actually just talking to the guy in the truck, and there is not really much happening at this point. We will just kind of skip the part. The police just talks to the guy, just reassures him, and then at that point the dispatch tells that there is a man who's standing in the middle of the highway, and then given the description, the officer knew that it was the same guy they were looking for, and at that point they started to go towards the suspect. And we are seeing the videos from the body cam of Mr. Gonzalez, the officer, and who's gonna actually do the shooting. And you can actually see the suspect is really compliant. He's actually on the floor with his hand raised, which the police kind of wants, because you're not reaching for your weapon. That's what the police is looking for. And the thing is, before even the police had the time to tell Mr. Rodney what was going on, it's very important that the officer is safe. That's what you want in every situation. We don't know that the suspect could be armed at this point, so the officer tells him to turn around, which is a very basic procedure, because even if you can imagine, if I have my hands raised, I can still pull my gun. Whereas if I have my hands raised and try to go towards my belt, which probably where the weapon would be in most cases, the officer has more time to respond to the situation by just taking a shot or even like deploying a taser or just moving out of the way or whatever. So it's very important that the officer takes control. He's trying to make the suspect turn around, which he's gonna do in a minute. Let's see. At this point, we can even see the officer is trying to reassure Mr. Rodney. He even has his hands up and put his gun away, which I would not really recommend for an officer to do, because you're going into a situation that you don't know. The suspect could even be armed, so I would actually not recommend the officer had done that. He should have actually hold on to his firearm while the other officer was going to pursue him and then put him in handcuffs. At this point, we can actually see the gentleman was actually trying to go for the other officer's gun. At this point, there was no other option for Mr. Gonzalez to actually pull his weapon and take two shots. And then you see the suspect is on the floor. At that point, officer not shooting anymore because the threat has been terminated. So you people I see, they're like, why people shoot 5 bullets or 10 bullets? The thing is, you gotta understand from officer's perspective. Once the threat is gone, you don't need to shoot them. The threat is on the floor. The gun is safe with the other officer. He's not shooting him anymore. So let's go into it. At this point, the whatever is going to happen has happened. The people are actually they're actually gonna start giving him EMS, and then they call for an ambulance to come. At this point, the officer actually went up to Mr. Rodney and asked him why he did that. He said, "That's what I thought you were supposed to do," and which is obviously not the right way to deal with it. And basically, I'm gonna shut up now, and then you're gonna watch the whole video from the dash cam of the officer's car, which is even better than like the one we just saw. So I'm just gonna kind of skip to that part and let's see it. So this is kind of where the video ends, guys. The EMS was called, he was sent to the hospital where actually he just died from his shots, which is very sad to see. And then because of that, Officer Gonzalez had to go on a standard administration leave. And then you can see he's been with the police for 12 years and 5 months, and then this happens. And then everybody starts shouting BL, like this was not justified. As you can see, this is totally justified. The officer has to protect himself. He has a split second decision to make in this time. And as you can see, the videos in front of you. Thank you everybody for watching the video. Have a nice day.